Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I posted another video, and today I've come with a video about my experience after I read a book. So usually I have been always reading like books that are related to my practice of work related books such as medical books, but I haven't really read any book that was like inspiring or motivational. So recently, since I had some time, I decided to start reading. So it was not a habit that I already had, so it was kind of difficult to begin reading, or at least to start reading. So initially I went to the library, got the book, and I started reading. So it was actually difficult initially to read. I couldn't sit long hours for reading, but then eventually I was able to complete this book. So the book that I'm going to talk about today is a book written by Viktor Frankl, and this is the book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning. So this is one of the most influential books in the world regarding. It talks a lot about hope and about life, about sacrifice and the purpose and meaning of life. So it was written by a physician, Viktor Frankl. He lived in Europe, in Vienna, Austria, and he wrote this book after he had experienced 3 years in concentration camps, in different concentration camps in Europe, and this was his first book that he wrote after he was released from the camp. So it actually talks about different experiences that he had while he was in the camps, and how he overcame his feeling of loneliness or depression that he had experienced while he was there. So I wanted to talk to you guys about like a short description about the book itself. So the book it's actually divided into like different chapters. There's 3 chapters. The first one is called The Experiences in a Concentration Camp. So it talks about his few experiences that he came across while he was there, some of the other fellow people who were with him as well. And then the second one, he talks about logotherapy. Logotherapy means meaning. So it's basically finding the meaning of life. That's called logotherapy. So basically he talks about why everyone should look out for the meaning of life, and why meaning is so important, and that gives purpose to life. So one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of times we usually ask around, or we think to ourselves, what is the meaning of my life? Like, what is my purpose? But the actual truth is that life is asking us, what is our purpose, or what are we bringing into the world? So we are being asked this question instead of we asking others. The fact or the truth that's written in the book is that this is all these information are from the book itself. So the truth is that the book that tells us that, or teaches us that, the life is asking us, like, what is the meaning of my life in this world, or what am I bringing to this world? So it's basically our responsibility to find the meaning of our life. There is nobody that can tell us like, hey, this is your meaning, or this is your purpose in life, but it's our responsibility, and we have to basically put some thought into the idea of what are we bringing to the world. Is it being useful? Are we helping others? Like, is there a purpose? So there we go through like different circumstances in life. Sometimes it's failure, sometimes it's like it's good things that happen. But if there's any circumstance without meaning, then there's no, that doesn't have any value. So using logotherapy, he tries to tell us that if someone can find the meaning for any incident that happens in their life, it actually helps them to move forward in life. So he talks about like different psychiatric problems such as anxiety, depression, which are not organic. So organic means like if someone's having like an infection or something that can be treated with medicine, it's called organic. So there are certain diseases that are like not organic, which are like anxiety and depression, OCD behaviors. So these kind of things like can be treated using logotherapy. which is basically like finding the meaning and using meaning to treat. So he also mentions, these are some things that I noticed from reading the book. He says that love is the ultimate and the highest goal to which man can aspire. So he says that to find the meaning of life, there's 3 ways you can find the meaning of life. First one is to do work, which means that you have to continue to do working. Work means not just your physical work, going to job, but it also means that it could be like doing certain actions, like doing like chores, maybe for house chores, or looking after your kids, or doing working means like doing things that are responsible. That can bring meaning to life. Second thing would be by loving your wife or your spouse or your husband, you're loving your children. Like by showing love and expressing love, you're bringing meaning to life. And the third way of finding meaning in life, as per Viktor Frankl, is through sacrifice. If someone is sacrificing, if it's a sacrifice that cannot be replaced, or if it's an inevitable sacrifice, which means that you cannot change the situation you have to go through, that means that's also bringing meaning to life. For example, he talks about a situation where a person is alive, but his wife has passed away 2 years ago, and for the past 2 years he has been feeling depression and loneliness. So when he came to see Viktor Frankl and discuss his problems, he addresses to him that what if that person had passed away and his wife was living? How would he have felt that situation? So as soon as he heard that, that person realized that, hey, if I was supposed to die and my wife was supposed to live, that would have caused more trouble for my wife. So it's good that I was able to live and my wife passed away, so this way she's not suffering that loneliness and depression. So Viktor Frankl was able to create a change in the attitude, how the person perceived that situation in his life. So this is what he says in his book. Viktor Frankl mentions that even though you cannot change any situation in your life, you can change the way you respond to it, or your attitude towards it. You can always change your behavior towards it, or your response towards it. That is the same way in any situation in life. We might not be able to change what's happening, but we can always change how our response or how we react to it. He also explains a few other examples where he encounters like people in their day-to-day lives going through similar anxiety or depression, and how he is able to help them. The other thing he speaks about in his book is called the other thing that he talks about in his book is called Paradoxical Intention. Basically, if someone is having like repetitive behavior such as OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder, it's basically using the opposite behavior to counteract the actual problem. That's what's the meaning of paradoxical intention. With using intention, which is purposefully, we are trying to do the opposite behavior, which is called paradoxical. For example, he himself explains in the situation like there was a person who was having like a writer's cramp. So writer's cramp means that they were having issues with writing. So he was not able to write properly in good handwriting, this particular person, and that was causing a lot of anxiety and difficulty in his job as a bookkeeper. So this person was a bookkeeper and he was having a writer's cramp. So he came to Viktor Frankl and he expressed this situation, and what he was advised was to try to go back home and try to scribble intentionally instead of making sure that you're having good handwriting. Trying to do scribbling in the book. So when the person went home and tried to do like scribbling in his book, he realized that he was not able to scribble now because he was trying to do the opposite. So that at that time he was able to write perfectly well, and he was able to cure his problem of writer's cramp. So this was able to be happen. This had happened because he tried to do what was the directly opposite of what he was trying to do earlier. So by doing like intentionally, it's called paradoxical intention, which is trying to do the opposite of what he was supposed to do, he was able to cure this problem. Secondly, there was someone with agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is like when you're getting out of your house or room, or you open the door, and if, let's say, for example, if there's a lot of people in front of you and you're having that anxiety of facing them or talking to them. So if someone came, or someone had come with similar problems to him, to Viktor Frankl, and the way he had addressed, or the way he had explained him to deal with it, was by accepting the fact that yes, I have a problem with talking to people or going outside and speaking in public. And once the person had accepted, and he was telling others like, hey, I do have this problem and I'm able to he's trying to accept and trying to do the opposite thing of what he would have tried to do. So initially, when he was having the problem, he would have tried to think that in his mind about the problem, and he was not able to talk with people. But now the patient kind of accepted the problem, and he tried to mention that to others, and this way he was able to win over it. So these were some things that created like a positive influence in my life. Especially, I would recommend everybody to read this book, especially with the pandemic that's going on, and a lot of people are working from home. There's not much socializing happening, and a lot of people are going through anxiety and depression, and I think this book will create a really positive influence in your life. I highly recommend. This book has been translated into many different languages, and whichever language you speak or you're comfortable, try to see if this book is available in a specific language. Again, this is the book. It's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So he was a psychiatrist who lived in the 20th century, and he had gone through the difficult situations during the concentration camps in Auschwitz and other concentration camps as well. And I highly recommend reading this book. So I recently started reading this book, and I completed this yesterday. So I bought this book like a month ago, and it took me almost a month to finish this book. But I'm slowly trying to develop my reading habits and hopefully get better in speed. And I think that's about it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up if you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel so that I can post similar encouraging videos for you in the future. Thank you once again, and hope you all have a good day. Take care.